One of the best parts of cruising on a small boat is the ability to call almost anywhere home. When you find a port that you like, there's nothing stopping you from staying for a bit and getting to know the locals, although sometimes these longer visits can be unexpected. When we first arrived to the Frisian town of Steveran in the Netherlands, we didn't expect to stay for long. However, when a strong gust of wind broke our camera, we had to figure out how to fix or replace it before continuing on. While we waited for the replacement, we explored more of Steveran and ended up really loving it. When our new camera finally did arrive, we had to bring you all for a tour. Welcome to Steveran. I'm Maya, and this is Aladino. Our journey began a few years ago when this boat fell off a crane. After 4 years of rebuilding her, we named her Magic Carpet and we set sail to go around the world as slowly as possible. This season, we're sailing in the Netherlands. Join us as we explore the history and strange natural beauty of this seafaring nation. From the canals of Amsterdam to the pastoral islands of the Waddenzee, welcome to Magic Carpet in the Netherlands. New episode every Friday. In the last episode, a gust of wind took our camera down. Although a camera may not seem like mandatory cruising equipment, we do rely quite heavily on ours. Not only do we like recording things for our own memories, but our camera has become the way we share these adventures with you, so it became priority number 1 to get a new one. After researching several different options, including repair, we ended up finding a Dutch buy and sell website and got a good deal on a second-hand camera body. By the way, a quick note about Googling things in foreign countries. You might think that Google is the easiest thing to bring with you across the world, but that's actually not always the case. Because when you're Googling things in a country that doesn't speak English, chances are their websites will not be in English, and so your English Google search queries will not actually be matched by the websites, if that makes sense. So if I'm in the Netherlands and I Google buy and sell, chances are that Dutch buy and sell websites won't actually contain the words buy and sell in English, and so Google won't find them. So it really pays to ask a local if you are looking for a specific kind of website, especially second-hand websites, or even websites that sell boat parts or whatever else you're looking for. So that's my Googling tip for foreign countries. It actually is very helpful to take it offline to figure out what website you want to find. By the time our new-to-us camera arrived, we had spent several days in Steveran and had grown to like this quiet Dutch town. So let's go have a look at it. So we've gone back and forth into town a few times now, and it's a really sweet little place actually, and it's got quite a few stories in it. Of course, all these places in Europe have been here for so long that of course things have had to happen here, and there's stories to be told. So we're walking through the sheep fields at the moment to go and show you little pieces of Steveran, some of the history, some of the stories, and also some of the food, which we've gotten a few recommendations for. One thing about small boat cruising is that you'll become quite accustomed to walking everywhere. In a way, this is quite fitting, since a big appeal of the cruising lifestyle is the slower pace of things. Well, here you've got it, a slower pace, complete with time to stop and smell the roses. I've also found that spending more time on the water than on land actually makes me really appreciate things like the shade from a tree or the smell of wildflowers in the sunshine. What does it smell like at the moment, Amore?
Grass, the only thing maybe.
Well, I was hoping for a more poetic description. Yes, it smells like grass, but it smells wonderful. It smells like cut grass.
Smells like grass.
As much as land dwellers may feel a mysterious pull towards the sea, I found the reverse to also be true. My appreciation for the greenery of land is deeper than ever.
It seems like if you leave enough room for other boats you pass, there is free parking everywhere in the Netherlands. It's just tied to one pole.
Any imaginable opportunity to put a boat, even if it means you have to make a lake or make a canal or make an entire, whatever it is, the Dutch will do it, all in the name of boating. So the first stop in town will be to get some food because it's kind of late lunch and we haven't eaten anything yet. And what are we getting for food, my love?
We're stopping at one of those typical fish stands. You see them in every town.
Traditional Dutch food is usually hearty and satisfying. The delicate fluffs of pastry or impossibly elegant dishes to be found in France or Italy could not find their equal here. But I still like Dutch cuisine for different reasons. It's uncomplicated and satisfying. We got one portion of kibbeling to share, which is deep fried fish, essentially, with a kind of batter. And we found that different kibbeling trucks put different seasonings on them. And this one is actually one of our favorites, so I'm quite excited. And then, I don't know if this is traditional, but I really like having the kibbeling in just bread. They always have these white breads.
No, traditional is with fries.
Yeah. I prefer the bread, and then I put some sauce on the bread.
Oh, you're funny,
And the
because you could
kibbeling.
order a kibbeling in a bread.
I didn't see it on the menu.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I could have, though. Anyway, this works. Traditional Dutch food is still widely served and enjoyed in the Netherlands, but it definitely doesn't represent the main diet anymore. In fact, owing to the Netherlands' history with Indonesia, Indonesian food is a really popular choice in restaurants and grocery stores. Obviously, this is not related to what we're eating right now. We were talking to a friend we met in a harbor who was explaining Dutch cuisine to us and saying that, she very rarely actually eats traditional Dutch food because it's not maybe the healthiest around, but that the Asian influence, is much more like the day-to-day Dutch food experience, which seems to be the case from what I've noticed. So anyway, that aside, let's eat this, which is much more the traditional Dutch route. Deep fried fish with a sauce and a very white bread. Alright, that disappeared very quickly. It's very good. So I think I will have a soft ice cream to round out the meal. What do you think?
Not for me.
Not for you.
I'll have a
Aladino.
raw herring.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, what a dessert. Okay.
As an Italian, I cannot do the soft ice.
Personally, I think I made the better choice. But that's because eating a raw herring, no matter my Dutch ancestry, does not appeal to me. So behind me is the statue of the Lady of Steveran. It's actually smaller than I was expecting it to be, but there she is looking out over the harbor. And now she's got a bit of a story. She's a bit of a legend. Steveran apparently is the oldest city in Friesland, and it used to be a very, very rich city. It had a big harbor, big trading port. However, I forget exactly when. Was it the Middle Ages? Somewhere around the Middle Ages, I believe. The harbor entrance silted in. There was a sandbar that started accumulating, which basically cut off trade to the port, and the whole city floundered because of that, because that's how they made all of their riches. And so Steveran, really sank down in importance. But this woman, fictional character, the Lady of Steveran, was kind of the fictional scapegoat for why the harbor silted in and ruined the town's fortunes. The story goes that she was a very, very greedy, kind of high up, very wealthy lady, and she hired a sailor to go out and find for her some kind of cargo which she could trade and to increase her wealth, essentially, to go find the richest cargo in the land. So the sailor went out and he came back in and he had brought back a huge boatload of wheat. And he said, with all this wheat, you can trade it, you can eat it. Everyone always needs wheat. This should make your riches. And the lady of Steveran thought, wheat? I don't need wheat. And she was so angry that the sailor had brought back to her this seemingly worthless thing that she dumped it all into the water. And there's different versions of the story. Some of them involve a ring and different versions, but essentially, I mean, the wheat turned into the sandbank and the poor lady of Steveran over there turned into a pauper and the whole town's fortunes crashed. So that's the lady of Steveran, and she's still, I don't know, I guess watching the horizon to see if her riches have arrived yet. Steveran seems to be doing pretty well, although I will say I think the population here is very small, the year-round population. I only found stats for 2017 and it said 960 people, which is pretty tiny, but there's lots of people around here now because it's quite a tourist hotspot. Anyway, let's continue.
The 970 inhabitants are probably 970 boats.
Yeah, this is crazy busy. Okay, we just had such a cool experience. It's now much later in the day, you can probably tell from the sunshine. Basically, a person who knows our channel came up to us in town and we ended up talking to him, and we found out that he has a traditional Dutch barge, a Dutch sailing ship, and it's docked right in front of his house, which is on the water here, and he took us to his house and showed us his barge, and it was just so beautiful and so wonderful. And I wish that we had filmed it, but I'm always very hesitant, especially when we're making new friends. I'm not just gonna stick a camera in people's faces, but I do think that we might have made plans to go sailing with him on the Dutch barge, which will be so cool to go sailing on one of these traditional Dutch ships that we keep seeing everywhere. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully that will happen. He was such a nice man. Hoop?
Hoop.
Hoop. Oh gosh, Dutch names, I'm not good at them. But for now, the day is actually fading and we're hungry again. So you just saw us eat in the videos, but in fact it's been several hours since then, so I think we have to eat again. Yeah, okay, let's go. Cafe Max, let's try and get a table. Okay, should I say something about Cafe Max? I should say something about Cafe Max. Do you wanna walk with me? Cafe Max, you're not walking, you're just spinning. Come. Cafe Max is a place that's been recommended to us by a lot of people. It's supposed to just be a very, very nice old Dutch cafe with very traditional foods and a very nice atmosphere. It's run by Max, who apparently is going to be retiring from it quite soon, so now might be one of our last chances to experience Cafe Max. But we've tried to get in there twice, and both times it's been full. Right now it's a sunny Saturday, so I don't know if our chances are any better, but let's go give it a shot anyway. We ended up getting really lucky and got a table due to someone else canceling their reservation. Although I think this place is always quite busy, now it was extra difficult to get a table because most of them had been removed to create social distancing. Although the restaurant was technically at capacity, the COVID restrictions meant it still felt quite empty.
Here we are diving into very traditional Dutch things, and these ones here are bitterballen, and here we have goat cheese croquettes. I don't even know if that translates well, but basically they are crispy and fried.
Yummy.
Yeah, what was the bitterballen again?
I think it has something to do with meat.
true.
But I remember last time when we asked the Dutch people, remember with Peter, and like no one really knew anyway. They were like, it's kind of meat, I guess. I don't know, it's a fried thing, it's good.
Alright. With mustard? No, not mustard.
Yes, I think so.
Oh, okay. Wow, what a guide. Awesome, it's like golf balls. Wow.
Good. Are they really hot? Be careful.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
But I love how crunchy it is. It really has a lot of crisp to it.
Yay,
and
I'm
inside is
excited.
actually very, very, very creamy. And over here we got the similar outside, but inside it's goat cheese. Very creamy goat cheese. Not
I'm
hot.
so excited for this. I love goat cheese.
It's actually funny. We've had a few things in the Netherlands now, and if they wouldn't tell you what it is from the outside, maybe they can tell, because like one is this long, one is this long, one is a little wider.
Yeah.
But everything hides in this. No matter if it's cheese or even in the fish stand we've seen them, they put meat in them. Everything is hidden within a crispy skin.
Yummy.
Yeah.
The Dutch know how to do things. Deep fry it and it'll be good.
Next course is onion soup, and it smells absolutely delicious. And now I will enjoy it. One of the greatest pleasures of cruising is tasting new cuisines wherever you go. You probably won't like everything you try, but you will discover many new favorites which become inextricably linked to the place itself. Granita in Sicily, fresh baguette and local wine in France. Some of my favorite cruising memories revolve around the foods we ate. Although a frugal cruiser will of course cook most meals on board, I think it's important to have a small allowance for meals out. I learned this lesson most starkly from our 2 trips through the French canals. The first time we went through France, we had very little money and were extremely strict with our expenditure. Although this was necessary at the time, I did notice a huge difference when we traveled through the canals a second time. We had a little more money then, and we allowed ourselves a few meals out. Those experiences became some of the most memorable of the trip, and we learned a lot about the local cuisine and nearby areas from the kind waiters. Here was no exception. We struck up a friendly conversation with Max himself, and he told us lots of stories about Steveran and the local area, which we certainly couldn't have gotten had we cooked on our own boat that night. My advice for a cruiser on a budget would be to save a small allowance for meals out and then use it wisely. Try your best not to go out just because you don't feel like cooking. Research the area's traditional menu items and then ask locals, such as the people who work at the harbor, where you could go to try these new dishes. Often the more traditional restaurants are humbly priced, really delicious, and will be a unique experience that you won't forget. Don't just go to an Italian restaurant if you're thousands of miles from Italy. Make eating out a local adventure to be recorded in the logbook. Okay, so this is a ball of ground meat. Like I said, Dutch cuisine is hearty and delicious, but I wouldn't call it inventive or elegant. With our bellies full and our spirits high, we strolled slowly back to Magic Carpet under the stars. The next day, we decided to go for a walk in the sunshine. Since distances are never far here, we soon found ourselves in a really sweet little town. I forget its name, and we weren't really trying to end up there, but we were glad we did.
Nice variety of flowers. Look, there's purple, yellow, orange, white, pink.
Wow.
So nice.
The horse path.
Incredible!
Yes. A bike path and a horse path. Welcome to Friesland.
Wow, cheval friendly.
Cheval.
The previous day at Cafe Max, we had actually run into one of our patrons who is both a sailor and a music teacher, so we invited him and his wife over to Magic Carpet for a little jam session.
Okay, we are on the boat with Joost and Honey, some patrons who we randomly bumped into in Cafe Max in Steveran.
Cafe Max, yes.
And they're on this gorgeous boat behind us, a Nordkapper, which is a kind of boat that Aladino and I have been looking at from afar because they're built in Holland and, well, kind of, and very beautiful. And Joost is a music teacher, and we've been jamming some tunes, and here's a tune called Coffee, and I think it's from the States.
Coffee.
Yeah, I don't actually think it's a Irish or Scottish one, but there you go. Some inspiration. That impromptu ending was perfect.
But that's all about how you feel, that you can feel the other one's
Totally.
music.
Yes.
I like
yes.
that. Yeah.
Me too. It's so exciting to play. Oh, so nice.
This was not the only musical experience I had while in Steveran. In fact, since we were waiting for our new camera to arrive anyway, I did a little bit of extra online shopping.
So, I'm very excited at the moment. Have a look. It's not boat related, by the way, but you know what? I've got other interests.
That's why you're on camera, not me.
I've got other interests, not just boats. And I think if you guys watch the videos, then maybe you'll also get excited by this. I don't know. Da-da-da! A boat-sized MIDI piano!
Oh, I'm glad it's smaller than the packaging.
Of course it's small. No, it's really small. I'm so thrilled about this. I've been really trying to learn about production. I've been spending a lot of time learning about music production and writing songs. And up until now, I've been using my computer keyboard, just like the normal, you know, alphabet keyboard on my laptop, to try and input music, which is so difficult because you have to remember, like, oh, the letter T is in fact a D sharp or whatever it is. So I bought this little MIDI keyboard.
So after Maya has been experimenting with the keyboard for a day, we can say that she is a piano player.
Not true. Okay, here's one thing. Listen to this one chord. It's such a cool chord. But the one that Aladino likes, Aladino's favorite.
Who told you that?
Oh, you were the one who grabbed the camera as soon as I played it. It goes something like this.
You're so proud
It's
of
a bit of a classic. Oh no.
We better get moving again. That's what happens when you give Maya time in the cabin. Yay!
Woo!
Wrapped up in the covers with you.
You know, our respective passions can be quite incongruous at times, mister. Yes, that was my thought exactly! His
Both our passions are making music. No.
Okay,
Oh.
I'm gonna go have a shower. You continue your passion.
Alright. Actually, come have a look. Our compass is a constant mission. So you might remember 2 years we had an air bubble in it and I solved it, I filled it. Once it was losing still, I tightened the screw even more, there's no more loss. And what I'm doing now is, it's actually bronze, but it's painted black and the paint is peeling, it looks really. So what I'm going to do now is I have this little tool here, it will do for now, with the little wire brush, and I will polish it, and I think having it look like bronze, which it is much better than having this oxidation and black paint coming off.
Awesome.
What do you think?
So we're gonna have a pretty compass finally.
Yeah.
Yay!
And after some polishing, our compass looked brand new. So that's it for this episode of Magic Carpet. A new town, some delicious food, some music, some boat maintenance. That's pretty much cruising life in a nutshell, apart from the actual sailing part. And don't worry, we'll get to that next week. And if you can't wait until then you can go watch last week's episode where we had a pretty bumpy ride sailing into Steveran. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe even leave a comment letting us know what you thought. If you'd like to be notified of new videos, then press the subscribe and notification bell. We post a new episode every Friday. And of course, a huge thank you to our patrons for making these weekly episodes possible. Your support is really what makes this channel keep surviving. And an extra big thanks to these folks who really go the extra mile to make sure that Magic Carpet keeps being produced every week. And we'll see you all next Friday.